crafting up rituals, speaking spells, casting circles, dancing under the full moon? Is it all just a bunch of hocus pocus? Or could there be actual science-backed evidence behind this perceived magic? Welcome to another episode of Shattering Reality. I am your host, Sabrina Weibel, and on this podcast, we break through the common limitations of modern reality and expand your thinking as we delve into topics of quantum physics, spirituality, channeling, and much more. Nothing is off the table here as we work to uncover human behavior and the secret powers of the mind and universe through discussing esoteric and sometimes controversial topics. In today's episode, I talked about what witchcraft is in this modern day and age, how to set powerful spells, a few of the different tools that are used in witchcraft and how to use them, and more. If you're loving this podcast, the best way to show your love is to leave a 5-star review right now and share it with a friend so that more people can hear these topics. And with that being said, let's get into it. We often see witchcraft on television being shown as a woman wiggling her nose and a person appearing in front of her, or as crafting stews to suck the lives out of children. Outside of Hollywood's dramatizations, what really is witchcraft, and what does science have to say about it? So many communities and people wouldn't be practicing witchcraft today, and it wouldn't be so popular if it didn't work. So, how does it work? Everything that is in a witch's practice all has a purpose. And not everyone who practices witchcraft uses these things, if they even use any of them. Now, I don't call myself a witch, but I resonate with the practice and everything that has to do with positive witchcraft. And there is such a wide range of how someone's craft is practiced. But let's look at your, regular, schmegular, positive intentioned witch who has the wand, they have the herbs, they have the crystals, they're setting spells under the full moon, these things that you commonly see. From your eyes, you might see a woman who is doing all of these extra things, but let's look at what is really going on, science-based. Setting spells is all about setting an intention. The more powerful a spell is the more powerful your energy is there, the more powerful your level of belief is there. If you're setting spells and you're like, okay, Sabrina, I'm setting these spells and they're not working, in the nicest way possible is because your energy is really weak in that area. You might not have much belief. Your energy just may not be there. You may not be very present when you're doing it. And there's a science behind this. You set a spell because you intend to do something, right? It's all about setting that intention. Whether you want to ace your test or win a raffle, it could be anything. Setting an intention is simply declaring or stating that something is going to happen. It's not begging, it's not asking, you're intending it, you're declaring it. It can be said out loud, it can be written, or it can be done by thought alone. Now, when we have a thought, neurons fire in the brain. Now, these neurons that cause specific thoughts all have electromagnetic fields around them. And you can read this energy field when you get like an MRI or an EEG done. These electromagnetic fields are like magnets, hence the name. So when you imagine putting iron filings around a strong magnet and how the filings will show you the pattern of the energy field around the magnet, this is how the atoms that make up matter, how atoms around us respond to our neurons firing. Or in simple terms, this is how atoms respond to our thoughts, how physical matter changes and responds to our thoughts. Our thoughts have direct relation to how your physical 3D world around you plays out. And of course, so much of what I even do in my business, Better You by Sabrina, I have like a mindset coaching business. So much of what I do is teaching people how to change their thought patterns and change their brains in order to change their life because of understanding the science behind this. And in the book, Mind to Matter, written by Dr. Dawson Church, he goes into greater detail with all of the studies done on this. So when you have many neurons firing at once, this is a strong thought with a lot of declaration behind it. This energy field is stronger. And again, this goes to presence, okay? How often are you in a spot, you're talking to someone, but you have 10 other million thoughts going on in your brain? When you are able to control your thoughts, your mind, and get it to calm down and get it to be present, you have a lot more potency behind your quote unquote spells. And I teach a lot more about this in my business. If you want, I can actually just drop a free workbook down below just so you can get into that kind of mindset work. So again, you have many neurons firing at once. This is a strong thought with a lot of declaration behind it. And the energy field is stronger, okay? Affecting the atomic molecules that make up matter around us even more so. Okay, so imagine one wimpy little thought. You're kind of present, but you're also thinking about what you have to do after this. You're like worried if it doesn't work, right? Have all the other thoughts. You have one wimpy thought. It affects a little amount of atoms. This is how I want you to think of it. If you're fully present, your emotions are in it. You fully believe in it, believe in your power to create and manifest, and you put all of that potency into what you are affirming or intending or doing in your little spell, the amount of atoms that you are affecting are of a much greater value. So you could set a spell without even physically doing anything. Just by thought alone, just by having a thought and declaring something, you just set a spell, sister. So a lot of you are witches and don't even know it, okay? Now, what are all of these extra things often used in a spell? Many witches will use crystals and herbs in their craft to amplify the intention. So how does this work? Crystals carry a specific energetic vibrational frequency. Okay, and if you don't know what that means, so we know everything in our universe is made up of atoms, right? This is basic science. Now, these atoms are all vibrating at different speeds or frequencies. And these atoms that make up everything in our universe, each atom is made up of 99.9999999 a million nines % of energy, of just empty space, and we call that empty space energy. Okay, the only percent that's left, that's physical matter, is literally 0.0000001% physical matter. So when you look at everything around you, you are literally only seeing the tiniest of the tiniest of the tiniest fraction of matter, and the rest is an energy component. And all of these atoms are moving and they're vibrating, right? They're not still, they're all moving and vibrating at some speed or frequency. And everything in our world holds different energetic vibrational frequencies. That's how fast or slow the atom is moving. I hope you're staying with me here. Just like you cannot see radio waves from a cell tower or microwaves heating up the food in your kitchen, you are not able to see the different energy frequencies around you. Some people can, but that's a story for another day. So the atoms in crystals vibrate at specific speeds or frequencies dependent on what type of the crystal is. And crystals differ from plain old rocks that you might find on the street because those plain gray rocks are made up of several different elements and minerals. It's hard to tell what exact elements and minerals are in the rocks on the street unless you really look into it. But crystals are more of like a pure form of one mineral that makes up a crystalline structure because of its pure components. So for example, looking at a very common crystal like rose quartz, we can see that it is made up of that one mineral. Because these crystals vibrate at these strong frequencies, because they're so pure, what happens is when we have these crystals around us in our space, setting intentions with them, keyword intention. In this example, let's say like the rose quartz crystal, it may begin to change and affect your own body's vibrational frequency. And when you bring something into your electromagnetic field to change your energy field, right? Every person has their own electromagnetic field. You can begin to produce a similar energy that your crystal is giving off. So like rose quartz, if you want to be more open-hearted, if you want to call in the energy of love, self-love, love from a partner, whoever, bring more of those rose quartz crystals into your energy field. You can pray with it, you can set that intention, but you're going to vibrationally on an atomic level begin to change the vibration that your electromagnetic field is giving off, being able to change how you feel and also how the world responds to you. Now, I go like off and on with using crystals. It's really just like preference of what you want to use in your own practice of just for fun. Really, I feel like witchcraft is like manifestation, but just with like a little spin just to make it fun. You get to use all these different tools. You get to use like your little amplifiers, your herbs, your oils, your crystals. I feel like it just kind of like romanticizes life and using your own power to create. Herbs are also similar to crystals in the way of like these plants, right? Plants hold different vibrational frequencies, just like crystals. And so when you set an intention with them and use them with cooking, or you put them in a tea, or you have different like oils that may have different herbs in them, they may begin to change the vibrational components of whatever it is that you are consuming or putting around you and have similar effects. And also that's on the like vibrational level, on the energetic level. But when you look at it from a like a holistic health level too, on that physical level, a lot of different herbs, of course, have those health effects on the body as well. And like some people really just need to get over it. Everything is made up of freaking energy. It's like people act all around are acting like that's just a rock, like talking about crystals. That's just, oh, look at these cool rocks. Like, I'm sorry, you sound a little ignorant, to be honest, because a rock, that's not a rock. That's like a pure mineral form. And literally everything around you is made up of vibrating energy. You're literally seeing such a tiny percent of what actually exists. So if you act like energy doesn't exist and you can't change the energy around you and you can't call things into your life by changing energy and directing energy and aligning with different energy, I don't know who's a crazy one here. It might be you. And if you have not seen the Dr. Emoto rice experiment or water experiment, please do Google that, put it on YouTube, check it out. Dr. Emoto. It's absolutely insane what his studies showed of how just speaking to water can change the entire vibration of that water glass, of how speaking to jars of rice can make a jar of rice go bad and mold very quickly, or make a jar of rice stay good for a really, really long time. Your voice has so much power. You direct energy just through the words you use, just through the emotions that you use your words through them, just through your thoughts that you're having alone. You are directing energy at all times, every day, all day, every day. You cannot stop it. You are a constant creator. That's why I say like everyone's got a little witch in them, because literally you are all doing this exact thing just in your own way and not even realizing it. So might as well have freaking fun with it and call yourself a witch and get out your crystals and your oils and start manifesting for real, because like why not, honestly. So you can use spells with your crystals, with your herbs, with your voice, with your thoughts. And you can use this to manifest love or wealth or a specific job or specific friends. And it can be really fun. And I wanted to mention some of the like old school witchcraft things like the wand. Because the wand is interesting. For the longest time, I really just thought the wand was for show until I was watching a show on Gaia, which if you don't know what Gaia is, Gaia, giving you the plug. It's like the Netflix for people who like talking about aliens and mind healing and energy healing and all of these esoteric topics, which you know is my fucking jam. And in this episode was talking about, it was getting into like sacred geometry and how different shapes direct energies in different ways. And the show was literally just talking about shapes, but I immediately started thinking about witchcraft because it made so much sense, of course. But a wand is used to direct energy. So again, we are energetic beings living in an energetic universe, all on that microscopic and quantum level. When you're holding a wand, my finger wand, and you're setting that intention and the atoms start moving in that direction, the wand helps direct those atoms to that area that you're pointing at So let's say you're I don't know, I actually don't use a wand right now, so the total random example that's coming to my mind, say that you're pointing your wand at like a rose quartz crystal and you're manifesting the love of your life, okay? Which totally can happen, by the way, but you're doing this. You are directing more energy to that area, to the crystal. You're drawing all of that energy to this crystal that's holding this potency of that specific energy you're wanting to call in. So you are like amplifying this, right? And when I was watching that same episode on sacred geometry, I also realized why witches cast circles. So when you draw a circle, the energy immediately gets pulled to the center. And they did all this research behind it. But it shows that once that circle is complete, it's just the way that the energy responds is all that energy is then pulled to that center. So if you're setting a spell on yourself, wanting to call in more love or more money or whatever it is, you can cast a circle around yourself and the energy will gravitate towards you and it will be amplified. And then what does the moon have to do with it? I looked into this like years ago and I was so fascinated because a long time ago, people talking about like, oh, it's a full moon. Do you feel it? Like the energy. I used to make fun of those people long time ago. But then when I started to have my spiritual awakening and starting to get into this stuff, I got this book called Moonology. And it explained like all the different cycles and what actually goes on. And when you really understand how when the moon changes its phases and just knowing that the different moon phases have that gravitational pull effect on the earth, creating high tide and low tide, like the energetic pull that is going on between the moon and the earth is affecting these massive large bodies of water. And we are made up of 70% water, just human beings. How do you not expect the moon to also have effects on you? Now, I won't get into all of the moon phases and what they all mean because that could be a really long conversation. But I will say that the new moon is really great for setting intentions. Like if there's something big that you're wanting to call into your life or to manifest, you can set that intention. It's best to do that on the new moon. And the full moon is really great for like releasing. And if you start to go over like the teachings inside of my mindset coaching business, Better You by Sabrina, you know that, getting what you want out of life and manifesting something, yes, it's setting the intention and it's the affirming and doing the spells if you wish, but it's also releasing, lower vibrational junk that may be kept in your energetic field that you need to release and get rid of so that it can stop blocking you from getting what you want. And so you have to also do like that releasing work hand in hand with the intention setting to really get good at this. And so the full moon is really great for that releasing work, for that healing work, to let yourself cry, to let yourself journal on whatever has been bothering you, to let yourself do a forgiveness practice and start to release some things. The full moon's a really great time for that. And at the end of the freaking day, okay, the herbs, yes, they help. The flower petals, the candles, like they all have its place. But what really makes a spell powerful is your intention. It is the energy behind it, that presence with it, that belief with it. And yes, there are definitely people out there that practice what you would call dark witchcraft. And this is something that when I was in Salem, Massachusetts, most of you guys know that I have visited Salem multiple times. And I was there one time and I walked into this store. Should I say the name of the store? I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about them. The store is called Hex, and they sell a bunch of like voodoo dolls, and some things that I just saw in that shop they did not have positive intentions behind them. And I would consider that dark magic. When I walked into that store, my body physically rejected it. Like, I was getting nauseous. I was not feeling good. I told my sister, I was like, I gotta get out of here. And I just walked out of the store. I do not condone black magic or dark magic or just setting intentions with any kind of negative intention. That really is what dark magic or black magic is, because I believe in karma, and karma will get your ass. So if you think about doing something with a negative intention and think that you are bigger than Mother Nature herself, who won't kick you in the ass, because what energy you put out will come back. You know, if you're putting out this nasty intention, it's going to boomerang back to you. Really, that's on you. So know that, yes, you have great power, but use it wisely, because you might catch yourself really doing yourself dirty. Use it with intention, use it with purpose, okay? Most people who practice witchcraft things are not evil and are not trying to do anything crazy. They're just romanticizing life. And really, everyone casts spells every day as they tell themselves their workday is going to drag. Right there, you're casting yourself a spell, right? You're directing your energy there. That's a spell, baby. Or when they decide that no matter what, they're going to have a good day, you're directing your energy there. You're, molding your day out in front of you right there. So next time you declare that something is going to go well for you, or the next time that you make your mac and cheese on the stovetop and you stir it clockwise with love, know that you too are creating magic. And as they say, there's a little witch in everyone. Thank you again for tuning in. If you enjoyed this, please give it a 5-star review, sharing what you love most about this podcast, and I will see you in the next episode of Shattering Reality.